In today's video, we are tier ranking the best and worst protein sources for fat loss. So if you're trying to lose body fat but get in plenty of protein so that you can maintain muscle and stay full in a deficit, make sure you watch the whole video and save it for later. I want to start off with a warning that I'm ranking these in regards to the goals of fat loss, meaning the importance of how much protein is in the food for the amount of calories. There are some foods on this list that are very healthy foods that have nutrients in them, that have some protein in them, but they're not an efficient protein source. And that's okay. There can be foods that are excellent quality foods. Maybe they're S-tier foods, but they just don't give you much protein. That is okay. But let's dive into it. Let's start off with peanut butter. Obviously an F-tier protein source. By now, hopefully you know there's not much protein in peanut butter for the amount of calories. It's 190 calories for a serving. You only get 7 grams of protein. So the overwhelming majority of calories come from fats. Next on the list, whole eggs. And boy, you guys are going to hate me after this one. This is going to really upset some people because I'm listing it as a D-tier protein source. Maybe you could argue C, but I'm putting it in the D tier. Please hear me out on what I have to say about this. Eggs are an example of an S-tier food. An excellent, well-rounded food that has healthy fats, a little bit of protein. It has tons of nutrients. You should absolutely eat whole eggs, and I do. But the truth is, you're getting like 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat, so the majority of calories are coming from fats. Only like 30 to 35% of the calories come from protein. And many of the other foods on this list have 60, 70, 80 or more % of the calories coming from protein. So please continue eating your whole eggs and know that they are healthy and know that they are a good part of your diet, but also understand they're really not an efficient way of getting a lot of protein for few calories. People get really defensive about their eggs. Now, if you're still watching the video, let's get on with this list. Next up, we've got protein bars. Protein bars very much vary in terms of macros. So what I'm going to do is rank the Quest bars because they are very similar in macros to many protein bars out there, and they're also one of the most popular protein bars, and I'm going to put it in the C category. A Quest bar has like 45% or so of calories coming from protein. Typically you get 20 grams of protein, but you're also accumulating 20 to 25 grams of carbs and usually 8 to 10 grams of fat. So it's certainly not a pure protein source, and of course people are going to mention there's tons of ingredients, they're not the best to digest for that reason, of course. And I agree, compared to many of the other whole foods on this list, protein bars are not a great option. Where protein bars become a good option as a protein source is when you replace other junk food type snacks with a protein bar, like chips or a granola bar or candy. Of course, those aren't protein sources, but a protein bar can be a reasonable snack in place of junk food. Next up, salmon. Now, I'm a huge salmon fan. It is a fattier protein option. I'm going to put it in the A category. A 6-ounce raw piece of salmon generally is going to give you around 35 or 36 grams of protein for like 10 grams of fat. Very healthy protein and fat source together. 93% ground turkey, I'm also putting in the A category. A typical 4-ounce serving of 93% ground turkey generally gives you 22 grams of protein, 8 grams of fat. I'm not going to rank the other percentages of leanness like 80% ground turkey, 85%, just because it's too much to do. But just know that 93% is significantly better for fat loss than 85% or 80%. The leaner the cut of meat, the more calories you save and the more protein you get. Next up is cottage cheese. This is one of my go-to personal snacks on a daily basis. I'm putting this in the A category as well. Generally, a leaner cottage cheese option is going to be best for fat loss, but you could get somewhere in the range of 60 to 70% of calories coming from protein for a really good quality cottage cheese. I personally like the Good Culture brand. I think it tastes really good and the macros are really good as well. Next up is Greek yogurt. This is going to be in the A category as well, a really lean, high protein option that can keep you full and make an excellent snack. The ones that I like are the Oikos brand ones, so the Oikos 000 yogurts or the Oikos Pro yogurts. But there's a bunch of options out there now. Chobani has a bunch of them that are very similar macros. Light and Fit is another brand that has really good options. Now let's move on to 96% ground beef. This, in my opinion, is an S tier protein source. Generally 24 grams of protein for a 4-ounce serving and only like 4 or 4.5 grams of fat. So it's a very lean option. It's very versatile, just like the ground turkey, only the macros are decently better, saving about half the amount of fat. And again, the more fatty ground beef options are going to be not quite as good for the goals of fat loss because you're using up more calories on fats and less on protein, which isn't the best for staying full in a deficit. Before I get on to the other protein sources and ranking them, make sure you grab my Lean Muscle Cookbook down below. It's totally free. If you're finding this helpful, if you're trying to eat more protein for a reasonable amount of calories, losing body fat, building or maintaining muscle, that cookbook is going to be excellent for you. It's got like a lifetime supply of recipes that you can have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as snacks, as well as protein shake recipes. Next up is egg whites. This is in the S tier for me. It's pretty much all protein. There's like a little bit under 1 gram of carb and under 1 gram of fat per egg white, but it's pretty much straight protein. My favorite thing to do for breakfast is have 2 whole eggs along with 3 to 5 servings of liquid egg whites so that I get in my healthy fats, I get in more protein with the egg whites, and I have a nice higher volume option along with some sort of a high fiber toast or bread option. Chicken breast, this is an S tier protein source for a raw 6-ounce serving, generally about 39 grams of protein for only 3.5 grams of fat. Chicken thighs though, I'm gonna put in the B tier. They're noticeably more fatty, so the same 6 ounces of raw chicken thigh is typically gonna give you 28 to 30 grams of protein, but 14 to 18 grams of fat. So we're talking about like 5 or 6 times the amount of fat. Now we've got some really slept on protein sources in the seafood department. The first one is cod, which is an S tier protein source. Like 88% of the calories come from protein. There's like 1 or 2 grams of fat and like over 25 grams of protein per serving. Same with tuna, very similar macros, very, very lean protein source. That's an S tier protein source. It can also be a very quick option if you go with the canned tuna route. And the final seafood on the list, which is shrimp, this is an S tier protein source. This might be the leanest protein source on the list. Like over 90%, it's like 93 or 94% of the calories come from protein. The thing with shrimp I've noticed though is that you often have to eat 2, 3, 4 servings of it to accumulate enough protein to be considered good for an entire meal for most adult males. And that's just based on what they consider a serving on the label. So we get the frozen shrimp and it typically says that a serving is like 5 shrimp only. So I'll literally eat like 15 shrimp because that's 3 servings and that typically gets me around 45 grams of protein. And now whey protein, I'm using the Transparent Labs example here because that's the one that I use. It also happens to be one of the best macro protein powders out there, so maybe it's an unfair, it's not too unfair, it's similar to other protein powders, but it is definitely an S tier protein source. 28 grams of protein per scoop for only 1 gram of fat. Sometimes there's 0 grams of fat and a gram of carbs or 2 grams of carbs. It's super convenient. You can put it in a shaker bottle in 30 seconds, shake it up, and it's ready to go so you don't have to cook anything. It's very versatile. You can have it a bunch of different ways. It's very easily and fast digesting. And if you get the right one, it's only a few ingredients and you're familiar with what those ingredients are. Let me know in the comments, do you wildly disagree with me on any of these tier rankings? Are you in agreement? What are your thoughts on these protein sources? I also want to say that I'm sure there's many foods out there that I didn't include that I could have included, like tofu, like beans, like, you know, other types of foods. And I apologize if I didn't include all of them. I was trying to choose most of the popular ones. And again, I tried to base this tier list mainly on the amount of protein for the calories that you get, very numbers based. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you are looking to lose more body fat, specifically while maintaining muscle, that's my wheelhouse. That's what I really focus on, and I think this video here will really help you take things to the next level in regards to that specific goal. So I encourage you to check out this video next, and I'll see you over there.